Good morning, America. Wow, I feel like Robin Williams. Good morning, Vietnam, but we're in America. Good morning, America.
Such a good show.
Wow, I'm busting all the
you're off the
all the mics here.
level.
Hey, we're excited to be here. We are PrepperCon Radio. Shane, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm pretty good. Scott, how are you?
I'm hanging in there. You know those days you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Today is definitely one of those. I now know which side is the wrong side. It is my side. It's been a rough day, let me tell you. But I'm very happy to be here. I love being on the radio with K-Talk, with PrepperCon Radio, talking about the things that really, really matter.
I got a question for you, Scott.
Yes.
What is a 30-round magazine clip?
Well, let's back that up. Let's back that up. That's what we just heard on the news clip right before our segment.
Yep.
They're trying to issue a ban on 30-round magazine clips.
Exactly.
What the crap is wrong with this country's media outlets?
They're uninformed.
A magazine and a clip are two totally different devices.
Figure that. The news outlets are uninformed.
Exactly. So, to top it all off, well, let's go back to magazine clip.
Yes.
Is that where you take all the issues of your Sports Illustrated, 30 issues,
right,
and you clip them together like
with
what?
One of those big clips.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but that's the dumbest thing I've heard on the radio today.
Other than the guy talking about the ghost gun and the 30 rounds per second, whatever that quote.
I know.
That was absolutely ridiculous.
What is wrong with most other media outlets? Like I love K-Talk Media because they actually inform themselves. And all the other announcers here, they do their homework, they do their due diligence, and it doesn't seem like anybody else does.
And the other media outlets are pushing an agenda. That's what it is.
Yeah, they're focused on marketing instead of informing.
And I just want to say that after this weekend, with PrepperCon, K-Talk is absolutely amazing. I love these guys. Everybody at the booth, they had their booth there at PrepperCon this weekend, and just the guests and everybody was just so wonderful and so amazing. I'm so happy to be here with this family, and it started to feel like a family. Just wonderful people.
Absolutely. PrepperCon was this last weekend, so if you didn't make it out there, you're probably going to die in the next major pandemic, disaster, earthquake, or apocalypse. So I'm sorry to hear about that. My condolences. It was so much fun.
It was truly awesome. It really was.
I kind of felt like a chicken running around with my head cut off.
Yep.
There's actually a chicken, Mike the Chicken, in Colorado that has lived that way for quite a long time. I think he just passed away last year, but it was like 5 or 6 years.
Really?
Headless. They left the lowest section of the brainstem intact, and they fed him with a dropper.
No way.
And he stayed alive. Mike the Headless Chicken. Look it up on Wikipedia.
I'll have to do that.
My numbers are probably way off, but I always thought that was the coolest thing, that there really was a headless chicken that could run around.
Well, I've heard about it for a couple of hours, or maybe even a couple of days, but
yeah, this guy he was
years, huh?
He was a tough little bird. But yeah, there was so much going on. I mean, we had Prepper Fash, which was a fan favorite from last year. We had giveaways. I mean, the best part was standing on stage, tossing out T-shirts, hats, water purification systems, LifeStraw included. One of our sponsors. Yep. We were tossing out food storage. We were going to throw out some water storage, but it was a little heavy, didn't want to hurt anybody, so we handed that out. I mean, we gave away almost $13,000 in survival cards alone. Over $20,000. I think our final number in giveaways was over $28,000. We gave away 2 geodesic domes thanks to Vital Domes.
Yeah,
these are like the best survival shelters. Take them anywhere. Set them up in a few hours. You can live in it for like 8 to 10 years. Yeah. All the seams are heat welded. Like there's no breakdown in these devices.
And I guess they're rated up to 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Yeah, 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It'll take 60 pounds of snow per foot. That's tons of snow. Like that is lots of snow.
And because of the shape, it's just naturally strong. That the dome shape is, the circular rounded shape is one of the strongest shapes in nature.
Yeah. And then Cold Water Strings, they gave away a 20-gauge shotgun air rifle which also had I think it was a 357 insert, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about how they're taking down hogs from helicopters. I'm like, who gets to go hunting out of a helicopter?
At 100 yards.
At 100 yards.
Yeah.
100 yards away, taking out hogs.
With an air rifle.
With an air rifle. And it sounds like this. It's
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
No. It's half the noise of a 22. Right?
Really? Mm-hmm.
Like, it's nothing. We also gave away, Wise Foods, Wise Company Food Storage gave away a 3-month supply as one of the grand prizes. Lots of cool little products, lots of fun stuff. What was the coolest thing you saw there, Shane?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I'm going to have to think about that and get back to you on that because there's so many things. A few things that I really loved. I loved the Go Solar oven. That is one of my favorite products there. Super innovative and just
Let's
very
describe it a little bit because it is
it's
totally different than
different.
any other solar oven you're going to see.
Yeah, most solar ovens you see are a black box with reflectors reflecting the sun toward the black box. Then you have black pots inside to collect the heat. This one is a cylinder. What is it? It's a clear plastic. It's more than just plastic cylinder with an insert. It's actually a sleeve or a custom pen. It slides inside this tube with reflectors that again reflect and concentrate the sun directly on this tube. And so pretty much everything stays cool to the touch, but the tube itself heats up to over 500 degrees. So you can cook in a fraction of the time of most solar ovens. In my experience with most solar ovens, it takes longer than usual to cook out in the sun. But in this, it's shorter.
It's shorter. It's still the same amount of food that you'd put in a Dutch oven. So you can still feed your whole family. It doesn't look like it would be, but when you empty out the food, you're like, holy smokes, it's a ton of food. One that got me that was really cool was GST, the wind and solar system. So it was a solar panel that could be angled on top. You could open it up, pull out the wings, and angle it. Then it had a wind turbine below it, and a battery bank in the bottom, and it was portable. It had wheels, so you could roll it anywhere you wanted to go. I thought that was a really cool, innovative, smaller device to keep the essentials up and running.
Yeah, and another thing is Total Solar. They also have a portable unit where you have your batteries, your inverters, everything on a rolling cart.
And they have ones large enough that'll power your whole
entire
home.
house.
Like a 5,000 square foot house can get powered with Total Solars.
Yeah.
There were so many new products out there as well. We had Tim Ralston. He's one of my big favorites.
What a cool guy. I got to talk with him for a while and just really, I kind of was thinking, he'll be a little bit of a prima donna. Not at all.
No.
Very cool guy.
Super down to earth.
Yeah.
And he brought his newest device, aptly named it after himself, the Tomahawk. The Tomahawk crowbar.
Yeah, I almost got my face chopped off with that thing.
And he's actually doing a modification to it. So for version 2.0 is going to have a saw that folds out. So it's a full length 23-inch saw blade. So you can actually start cutting through stuff.
Yeah, and his bug out vehicle is very cool as well.
Yeah, he brought the Jeep Cherokees, which are great because there are so many of those made. You can find parts just about anywhere. 92
to 96.
I think so.
Yeah,
and he's EMP
4.5 million. Yeah, 4.5 million units where you can always find spare parts for it.
So you can tell Shane and I had a ton of fun. If you guys made it out there, please give us a call. Let's talk to you. I want to hear kind of your thoughts.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
Constructive criticism. If you've got constructive criticism, give us that too. We recognize where we've done good. We recognize where we've done poorly. One of the things we need to definitely improve on is our class schedule. We had 113 classes, which is a lot.
Constantly going on the stages, in the classrooms, constantly.
Absolutely. And our app to communication to the printer just didn't work out. And so the only way you could access it was on our app. The printer version didn't come out. So we feel horrible about it. I apologize sincerely. There were quite a few people that vocalized in very angry tones that we should have had our crap together. And I agree. I absolutely agree. So we're going to do everything we can to improve that for next year. We're actually going to be back April 21st and 22nd at Southtown next spring. So not next week, not in the next couple of days, next year.
Heck no.
If we're to do that, I'd probably pass out and die right now because I literally get no sleep the week going into it. I averaged 13 hours of sleep or average.
13?
I got 13 hours of sleep for the week.
Oh, right, okay.
Because during the event, I just don't sleep because I'm up all the time. But we built this thing for the purpose to help people get better prepared. And we wanted it to be a fun, engaging, and interactive way to do that. I mean, we had the People's Choice Cook-Off, where you could actually find out which food storage tastes the best. And you're going to be surprised with who won, Shane.
I think I know who won.
You think you know who won?
I think I know who won. It was, no, I can't remember now.
Across all three categories, there was
Daily Bread.
No.
No?
No. You know, you'd think, because, I mean, I love all the different food storage companies out there. There's so many that are great. Like, Family Storehouse, amazing product. Valley Food Storage, amazing product. Grab and Go Food Storage, amazing product. Numana, amazing product. You know, there's so many good things out there. I was like, man, this is going to be tough. Someone's going to win this category, someone's going to win that category. But all the way across the board, I was like, are you kidding me? So we had milk as one category, we had dessert as another category, and then we had an entree as another category. And across the board, with landslide numbers, Harvest Right. Harvest Right won, all the way across the board.
Who knew?
If we had a video, you could see I'm like, my arms are out, my head's like still shaking. I'm like, how did they just landslide victory across the board? I tasted it. All the food was good. Theirs was good. I was blown away. I was like, wow, they won all the way across the board. And this was votes tallied by the team that ran that. And it was just everyone that went through and wanted to taste it. It was open up Friday and Saturday for a few hours each day just to see, you know, what people liked. The best thing about it, all the food's easy to put together, easy to prepare.
Yeah.
You know, you add water, heat it up, let it reconstitute.
And I think it's important to point out that every manufacturer, every company has their specialty. You know, one does, say, rice better, one does a chicken dish better, and that's been my experience.
You know, my favorite chili comes from Numana. My favorite ground beef comes from Survival Kitchen.
Right.
My favorite lasagna. That's their specialty. Yeah, my favorite lasagna definitely comes from Valley Food Storage. And most people don't like cream of wheat, but there's a strawberry cream of wheat that comes from Valley Food Storage. Holy crap, that is one of the best breakfasts I've had. I take that camping.
Hey, no, it's great.
There's so many good things out there, and I'm a big believer. Get what you like from the companies you love. You know, mix and match.
Yeah,
there's no wrong way to do your food storage.
There's so many choices out there. There's no reason not to mix and match exactly what you love.
Yeah.
And they're all more than happy to give you samples and try everything.
Yeah. You know, and if you've got the money to throw down on a Harvest Right freeze dryer, they just dropped their prices $1,000. Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
So now you can take the recipes you love, your own food, and you can freeze dry it yourself. You know, they're phenomenal. We just got one. Been so busy with PrepperCon, I haven't gotten it out of the box.
Yeah.
I'm like just itching to go make my own lasagna, which is my favorite, and 5 trays of that. Let it freeze dry, put it in the bags, oxygen absorbers, stack it away, and then probably go.
So you don't buy the Stouffer's and stick that in the oven like we do.
Oh, I've done that as well. But my grandma makes this lasagna, or used to make this lasagna. She now her idea for cooking is it's always my grandpa's turn. So he turns into McDonald's, or he turns into a Sizzler. He turns, whatever directions, whatever on the side of the road, that's where he's turning to cook. She cooked for 50 plus years. She's amazing. But her lasagna is the best lasagna I've ever had. And so I tried to learn that recipe as a child. I'm pretty close.
Stick that in the Harvest Right freeze dryer.
Man, throw that in there. I'd cook that all day, every day for the next 5 months just to make sure I had a year's supply of that. So as soon as it's all set up, that's what I'm going to be doing. But it's so important, whatever you're doing, whatever your plan is for disaster, to have thought these things out. Make sure you're getting things that your family's going to enjoy and can use. We're super grateful for the event. We're going to talk about it again when we come back from the break. But feel free to join in on the call. 801-254-5855. We'll be back on the other side of this break from our sponsors. And thank you to all of our sponsors for making this happen. Thank you to K-Talk.
For every LifeStraw purchase made between World Water Day and Earth Day, 2 school children in a developing community receive safe drinking water at school for an entire year through the LifeStraw Follow the Leaders program. Visit LifeStraw.com for more information and to purchase a high-quality LifeStraw water filter and help a child in need. #LifeStraw.
Just in time, Scott.
Apparently DJ Shane is still in the house, pumping it hard, having some fun. We got a caller on line 3. Let's go ahead and take that caller. Hey caller, you're on air at K-Talk. What do you got for us today?
Hey Scott, it's Corey. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Corey?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you letting me take part in that for you or with you, and I can't wait for the earthquake simulator that we talked about.
Are you talking about the one I found on Facebook that was on your page?
Oh, yeah.
For those of you who don't know Corey is one of the coolest guys. Corey, tell us about the business you help run over there. You guys do roofing.
Yeah, I work with a company called the Roof Doctor. We specialize in residential re-roofing and repair. But I am definitely a prepper by heart.
I think you're a prepper first, a roofer second. I've known Corey now, what are we going on, a year and a half, 2 years? I met him through his nephew, who was one of our scouts when I lived in Murray. And I showed him my bug out bag, and he's like, "You gotta meet my uncle! You guys are gonna be friends!" So Corey's actually been one of our hugest supporters, always there to help out. One of our volunteers, and just an all-around awesome guy. Total prepper though. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
he's got horses.
He lives.
I don't have
yeah,
horses.
absolutely.
I'm jealous, Corey.
Whoever doesn't have horses should be jealous.
So what was the coolest thing for you at PrepperCon?
Just being a part of it, just being a part of that community, being able to have all that access, all that knowledge at your fingertips, and I walked around that place for 2 days, and unfortunately, there's way too many toys and not enough money.
On the same page as you.
I think we're all on the same page. Way too many toys, not enough money. That's for sure.
Yeah, even I walked around for 2 days there, doing some filming and such, and I still didn't, get a chance to talk to all the vendors and see everything I wanted to.
Yeah.
Did you get to participate in any of the classes?
I didn't get a chance to. There were a couple that caught my eye. I liked the bug. I think there was a bug out class.
Mm-hmm.
It was 7 o'clock, I believe, on Saturday. I didn't really get a chance to glance too much at the schedule, but there were definitely, I think, some classes that I think would have really been beneficial to a lot of people because, unfortunately, the prepping mentality is still pretty vague with a lot of people, and a lot of people think we're crazy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Me included.
Yeah, let them think whatever they want.
I think preppers are genius. So tell me, I saw a video of you in the knife fighting tournament. How'd that tournament go?
That was fun. It was definitely. It didn't go as I planned, unfortunately.
Well, nobody wants to get stabbed, so.
Yeah, no one wants to get slashed in the neck like I did. But I think it definitely presents a realism of what can happen in altercations, and it definitely puts into perspective what can happen to you. The benefit of having a little bit amount of training.
Absolutely.
Definitely gives you it. And Dan's an awesome teacher. We took class from him, you and I, and just the one class that we took with him, I think was huge. I'm a boxer by trade, but by having that.
That's right. Yeah,
No wonder his
you and I
stiff
did a little
jab's
bit of
so
knife
good.
fighting our last training down there in Provo.
And
And
that was a lot of fun.
You killed me. So, but yeah, I was also going to say that I brought my kids came along and I talked to Stan and said, hey, teach my girls some defensive techniques, and they loved it. They were there. They were grinning. They just made them feel empowered.
Now, for those of you listening in, Stan is the head honcho over at Urban Survivors up in Ogden. He's got 8. He's got, let's just say 90 different black belts.
Oh, six
different black belts. I don't even, he's ridiculously trained, and he is one of the best instructors I've been around because he slows it down and really helps you understand exactly what you're doing and why.
But he doesn't take it easy on you.
And he doesn't take it easy on you. He makes sure you understand it, and then he drills it into you, and he makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And he put me down hard. I remember that.
Well, he almost
You can
choked me
handle it.
out. So I think George got pictures of those. That was pretty funny. Everyone's like, "You're gonna pass out." I'm like, "I'm fine.
Tap
I'm
out,
good."
tap out.
I'm like, "No tapping." But,
If you can talk, you can breathe. So.
yeah, if I can gasp, I'm still alive. Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no, I think it was a great experience. I hope that you guys can continue to have events, more than just once a year, and I can't wait to help out.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Corey.
Thank you.
Yeah, Corey's a stud. I love that guy. We are so lucky with PrepperCon. It started as a dream 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, actually. I was actually sitting at Comic-Con, and I was like, man, this is a lot of fun, but there's no long-term value.
Yeah.
It is purely entertainment. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But as a prepper, I like everything I do to have two purposes.
Yep.
And it's kind of the prepper credo. Like we've got to have dual use for everything we're doing. So
At least dual, if not
at least
more
dual.
than
And then there's the rules of redundancy. You always want to have a secondary plan, a tertiary plan. Everything's got to have multiple uses and multiple ways to get anything done. That's where the idea for PrepperCon sprouted, because I've gone to preparedness expos all my life, and most of them are honestly rather boring and uninformative.
And that's why they don't get national, even worldwide attention,
Right.
like PrepperCon does.
But here's the thing: they're all valuable. You'll see something you're not used to, and you'll learn something different. And that's one of the things I've always loved about them, is I've always learned. But it hasn't been on such a broad scale. And so I sat down with the co-founder, Josh, and we said, okay, if we're to create, or if we wanted to find the best preparedness expo that has everything we're interested in, what would it need to have? And so we listed off all the things we needed to have. And then we searched for it, and we couldn't find it. And so we took it upon ourselves to create it. And I've done other different types of events, mostly singles events in California, help hosting those and growing those. And then I've run, sales and recruiting for colleges, and most of those are online schools, and for-profit industry. And then I got into real estate because I've always kind of been in and out of it, doing property flipping and then as a realtor. But my passion's always been throughout all this prepping, and so this was like, well, let's give it a shot, see what we can do, see if we can help people. Last year we had almost 12,000 people. This year we broke 13,000 people. So we're growing. We grew by at least 1,000, probably close to
Maybe a little
1,500 or 2,000. I'm still waiting for the final reports on numbers. Part of the reason that I'm waiting on that is because after PrepperCon, everyone on my team pretty much passes out and
Just
sleeps for
crash.
4 days because we're so exhausted putting on this event. But the coolest part of the whole event, like Corey, he loved it. He just loved being part of it. The coolest part is when someone comes up to me afterwards and asks, how'd you like it? Did you learn anything new? Did you get anything out of this that you didn't expect? And every time I get the best response, and it is, my family's better prepared now because we got this, or we got that, or I learned this, and this is going to help us because.
Yeah, we had a family stop us in one of the halls and say, we drove all the way up from St. George just to come to this. And yeah, that was definitely a highlight.
Absolutely. And it's the K-Talk that helped us do that. Listeners all over the world. I mean, we had people from St. George, a lot of people from St. George actually, and they're like, when are you going to bring it down here?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, when we have a little more money, we're doing this on a dime, so whatever we can do to help expand it and get it out there, we would love to. But we had people from California, we had people from all over Nevada, northern Idaho. I met a couple people from Montana, Great Falls area. So this is not just a local event. This is turning into a national event, and I think I can confidently say this is America's favorite preparedness expo. I mean, it is so much fun. It is so educational. I mean, there are so many classes you can learn things from. We're actually going to change up the format a little bit next year, and we're going to actually have slightly less classes. We're going to keep it to around 80 classes, but we want to vet out the content better so that it's really the highest and highest quality classes available from the best instructors. We were fortunate enough to have some really amazing instructors on most of the classes this year, but we want to just tighten that up a little bit, make it a little bit better. Also, we want to improve how we're doing things so that we have an actual class schedule printed and an app available for those of you guys who want to go digital, but simplify things as well.
Absolutely.
if you came, we'd love to hear from you. If you didn't come, we'd love to hear from you as well, and ask any preparedness questions you might have. You know, the biggest thing that we can do with this radio show is really just to help you, the listener. And the only way to do that is to find out what you're looking for. Find out what your questions are regarding preparedness, regarding gardening. And when your brain's moving faster than your mouth is, you say the funniest things. So
Yeah, that's me every day.
join in the conversation. I mean, I saw we had a full-on, we had hydroponics, which we had the year before, but we had different ones. But we actually finally got aquaponics into PrepperCon.
Kangaponics.
Kangaponics came, and he had a full system, which was awesome. So glad they were there. Did you get to talk to them at all, Shane?
Briefly, yeah, they said they were just having a great time there.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. I mean, that's the kind of system that I want to set up for my home. Once I get moved in, that's kind of the next phase after putting in the new flooring so I can walk around, painting so I can move in. We're going to start working on our own aquaponics system. And unfortunately, my wife doesn't really like fish or vegetables, but I love both, so it's all mine. We'll store something else for her, lots of wheat, because she loves breads.
Oh, yeah.
She loves pastas, so I got to make sure I stockpile that. But we have fun. What was, I guess, the thing for you that resonated most with what you want to get?
Well, I think the thing that I wanted to really talk about today is, and as we're coming more into summer and getting out and hiking some more, is hydration, is water filtration. I know we've beat that up a little bit over the last couple of weeks, but
I think we've been talking more storage.
But that's true. A little bit of filtration, yeah, but a little bit of storage. So I wanted to focus a little bit more today on filtration, purification, and like I say, since we're coming up onto the summer months, we're going to be out more, and you don't want to get dehydrated. You don't want to drink from somewhere that's you're going to make you sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
We've been talking a lot about. You've been hearing the commercials on here for LifeStraw. We gave away at least a dozen LifeStraws at PrepperCon.
At least.
Yeah,
I think we gave away at least 15 different things. We had the small life straws, we had the water bottles, now we have the family.
Right, there's the family, and there's the different solutions from LifeStraw. And I think what I wanted to talk about, I guess, first of all, briefly, are the different types of filtration. We can only get about 5 minutes or 4 minutes to the next segment here, but there's a lot of different kinds of water filtration systems. There's the kinds you have in your house, like reverse osmosis, and also combined with activated carbon or carbon. There are a lot of the kinds you backpack with, these, which I consider like a superior quality, are the ceramic kinds.
Yep.
And then there's lots of others like distillation, deionization, and so forth, which don't typically, those are more commercial type systems. But more the mechanical filters are what we usually have in the backcountry. The hollow fiber membrane, which is what LifeStraw uses, and also ceramic, and there's other different types of proprietary membrane systems out there as well. But the hollow membrane filter is what I guess LifeStraw really pioneered this, from what I understand.
Yep.
Back in early 90s, they were asked to create a filter to help filter out, I forget the name of the worm, this particular worm in Africa that was really affecting the health of all these people. So they created this essentially it looks an older version of the LifeStraw itself to filter out a particular larva from the drinking water supply. And as a result of that, and other efforts as well, that sickness has been virtually eliminated. And so LifeStraw really has taken a big part in not just water filtration for you and me, but for 64 plus countries all around the world.
Well, I think the humanitarian side of it is pretty amazing, because you buy a LifeStraw, and I have one in my backpack. You buy a LifeStraw, they give a LifeStraw.
Yeah.
Whatever you're buying, they give the equivalent to a family in need. So all these kids in school down in...
Yeah, what they do, they actually have these systems which they call their community water filter.
Yep.
So it uses the same filtration system, the hollow membrane fiber, and they provide these systems for schools all over Africa,
Yep.
and which then allows these children. So every time you buy a LifeStraw product, and that's what they follow the liters, if I can say that properly, not liters, but liters program. When you buy a LifeStraw, they use a portion of those proceeds to buy for these large community filter systems for these schools, so these children can have fresh drinking water at school.
Absolutely.
So, and I know a lot of these different water filtration companies have their humanitarian projects, which is just fantastic. And I honestly wouldn't support one if they didn't, give back to the communities and back to the world.
Absolutely.
So just so that you're aware, there's the LifeStraw, which is your standard. Basically, essentially, it's a straw, a filter in a straw. It's larger than just a straw, obviously. And then they have the steel, the LifeStraw steel, and what that is that's a two-stage rather than a single stage. It incorporates a carbon filter into that, which helps filter out chemicals.
Yep.
Like chlorine, as well as other chemicals and so forth. So that's the benefit of a two-stage filter.
Which is great in Utah. I mean, we have mine tailings. I mean, there's so many
Yep.
mines everywhere.
Arsenic, lead.
You need a charcoal filter if you're going to be around those areas. Now, obviously, looking at where you're going to hike, what you're going to do to play, whatever, you may need one or the other. But they're so small, they're so lightweight, they're easily portable. You throw it in your backpack, forget about it till you need it. But it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Absolutely.
And it's a really affordable solution. We got a caller.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Hey caller, you're on K-Talk. We got a few minutes before the break. What do you got for us?
Hey, I just have a question on the Harvest Right.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused. Isn't their food, do they have food ready-made, or do you have to do your own?
My understanding is it's all do your own, but they have their own recipes that they do pack as well, I believe. But that's what we tested was the product they provided us. So it was their recipes.
I'd like to see what came in number 2, because I'm probably not going to get one of those and use that. So, but I do have a lot of the other stuff.
So number 2, we had in the entrees it was Numana, and then on the desserts it was Valley Foods. And I can't remember who came in number 2 on the milk. I'll have to get back to you on that next week when I'll bring in my paperwork with me so I
We
can
post
tell
that
you.
on Facebook as well.
That'd be great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, thanks for calling in.
Bye-bye.
All right, we're running into a break. We're still talking LifeStraws. When we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about water filtration and what you can do to be better prepared for the spring and summer exploration. I mean, Utah is the greatest place to live. Go explore.
Absolutely.
So we'll be right back after a message from our sponsors. Welcome to the indie grunge techno spin class. What the heck was that?
That is who is it? That's Dead Mouse. Is
Dead-
that Dead Mouse?
Dead Mouse.
Dead Mouse.
I'm gonna create a band. We're gonna be horrible, but we're gonna name ourselves Speed Bump. Like what the heck?
Hey, there probably already is a band named Speed Bump out
Leaves in the gutter. What the heck are names used for anymore? That Dead
there. To
Mouse.
stand out, right? To stand out. Dead Mouse. And the last S is a 5. Dead M-A-U.
Dead Mouse 5.
M-A-U 5. Mouse. M-A-U.
Dead Mouse 5. That's what it is. Dead Mouse 5.
Dead Mouse.
No, Dead Mouse 5. Okay, that makes even less sense. All right,
All right, anyway.
water filters.
Back to, I guess, talking about a little bit more about LifeStraw, then we're going to segue into rocket stoves. A couple of the products, I guess, first of all, you have your personal water filtration, the LifeStraw, the LifeStraw Steel, the LifeStraw Go, which is basically a LifeStraw in a water bottle. I think this is my favorite product. And as you heard in that last commercial, that's one that I take around with me everywhere, because I can dip it in a stream and just take it with me. I don't have to sit there and take my water filter out and pump, but I just dip it and then I can just drink right out of the bottle. And then they have their 2 large volume water filters, the Mission and the Family. Essentially, this is a bladder. You fill it up with water, and gravity does the work. And what I really like about these, they have their own cleaning mechanism you can use. And they're just very efficient, and especially they do like 3 gallons per hour, which is more than my entire family will use for drinking and cleaning in backpacking or emergency or type situation. So that's I could get more into details about the LifeStraw family, but go check them out on LifeStraw.com, but also check them out on EarthEasy.com. EarthEasy is the North American distributor for LifeStraw, and they have also just been chosen, and I think this is really cool, to be the North American distributor for a rocket stove called EcoZoom.
Yeah, I haven't heard about this yet. So what is EcoZoom?
EcoZoom is, it's been around for maybe a decade or so. In Africa, they have been giving away these rocket stoves all over Africa, and I think there's even hundreds of thousands of these units out all over Africa, to help the people actually really conserve firewood and biomass and so forth. Because when you're burning with a rocket stove, it takes far less wood or biomass, whatever you're going to use to burn, to cook with, than it does, say, over an open fire, like an open pit. You know, you have a rock ring, and you're building your fire. You're going to use about 40 to 50% more firewood to cook with.
Why?
Over an
Okay,
open
so
pit.
why is that? Why are these hotter or whatever?
Well, and that's the whole thing with,
You're the
with rocket
scientist between the two of
stoves.
us.
Well, I don't know about that. Anyway, with rocket stoves, they've really come into their own in the last year, maybe 2 years. They've really gotten to be popular. And if you go to Pinterest, you can find all kinds of pictures of rocket stoves. You can improvise your own. And we had a whole bunch of different rocket stoves at PrepperCon that I wanted to talk about a little bit. Yeah, this EcoZoom stove, I actually just got one. I'm going to be testing it out. I'll put it up on the blog, and basically what it looks like, to try and describe it to you, it looks like a, more than a gallon, maybe 2-gallon paint can, and on top is a burner, a cast iron burner, and the center of this rocket stove, and essentially all rocket stoves, basically a vertical shaft. It's just hollow, and then you have near the bottom basically an outlet where you put your firewood, or have a place where you can let air in below the chamber. I guess it's called the fire chamber, right in the center. So it basically, anything you put in there, it's going to burn it more completely, and so it puts off less smoke. It concentrates the heat in right over your pot or whatever you're cooking, and so that's kind of been really the benefit of rocket stoves. They're much more efficient than just having an open fire, and of course less smoke and easier to use. You just put your pot right on top of whatever this rocket stove is. That's usually how they're configured, how they're built, is to keep the fire concentrated and directed upwards toward your pot or whatever you're going to be cooking. So at PrepperCon we had, how many different rocket stoves do you think we had there, Scott? We
had probably six
or seven or so.
Six or seven different variations. I mean, we had, like, Titan Ready has one.
Yep. The Helios.
The Helios, that thing can burn
He's
so hot.
forging steel with that thing.
Yeah, and then there was Emberlit was there. Love those guys.
Kind of a folding backpacking stove.
Yeah, and I think they're around. I think the smallest one they have is like $40, and they're great for backpacking.
So they have,
because you can use kindling, you can use those little cook candles.
That's true, and you can use those little fire discs like for the quick stove or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different products there. One of the ones that I was kind of blown away by was I think it's Bear River. Let me find them.
Well, there's the Bear River stoves are big, and they are a rocket
Bear River
stove.
rocket stove.
They are a rocket stove. They're
So
more
it's
like a rocket oven.
It's an oven and a stove in
Griddle.
one.
Yeah, griddle.
Yeah,
on
you've
top.
got a griddle on top, but they're baking cake.
Yeah.
They're baking lasagna. Like, they're baking anything in the middle of that.
This is like for a full-on kitchen type.
This
stove.
is like your kitchen. Like, your whole kitchen goes down. This thing, you can cook for a massive group easily.
And again,
they've got
because
small
it's
ones and they've got huge ones. The huge ones you could cook for a small army, really.
Yeah, and again, because it is a rocket stove, it's a lot more efficient with your kindling, with your wood, rather than just trying to cook over an open fire.
Yeah.
And so, okay, we had the Emberlit there, and they had versions in titanium as well, super light titanium versions for backpacking.
Yep.
And previously, I'm kind of old school backpacker. I'd always have the white gas stove that I take with me, depending on where I go.
That's me too.
Or the
And
propane or the butane.
And they
type
take up a ton
stove.
of space.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the
They
newer
take up
stuff
space.
is so lightweight, so versatile.
Yeah, and you have to pack fuel with you.
And that's what everyone's doing, is they're making it simpler.
Mm-hmm. And so, with a rocket stove, you find whatever is available, depending on where you're going. And, often as you're going out in the desert and there's not going to be any wood there, then, probably a rocket stove probably won't work for you.
Exactly.
But another one I really liked there was called the folding firebox.
I didn't get to see that one. What was
that was, it's, I would say, similar to the Emberlit, but I don't want to compare those. It is also a folding version. He has it in of course, the stainless steel and I think titanium as well. But it is very versatile. You can actually put an oven pot on top of it and cook rolls.
Really?
On top of this thing.
Wow.
It's just extremely versatile. So foldingfirebox.com, I think, and I think he's also on Facebook. So I would check that one out along with the Emberlit. What else did I like? I saw of course, the Helios.
Mhm.
What else was there in the way of rocket stove? I'm trying to think now. There was, what about the Kelly kettle? That's kind of a rocket stove too,
Yeah,
right?
actually, yeah, they were there, and that's the fastest way to get your water boiling. I haven't seen anybody compare to that.
Yeah.
They can get water boiling faster, and you can use just a pine cone,
Mm-hmm.
to boil your water, which is amazing in and of itself. There's so many cool products. I wish we had time. We could just highlight everything. That's why we have a show, so that we can do that over time.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different ways for you to get prepared. You don't have to go out and spend a bundle of money. These are great resources, great tools you can add to the quiver, so to speak, so that you've got something for your family. But at the end of the day, you've got to have a plan. If you don't have gear like this, you need to have skills, and you can do a lot of this simply. Like, these all originated from what we call a Dakota fire pit.
Exactly. So one thing I was
That's
gonna
kind of the origin of these rocket stoves. And what it is basically you dig a little pit, and then you dig a little airway pit diagonally to it, connecting to the bottom of your pit. And you want to line that up with the wind, so if it's blowing east to west, you want your hole to start in the east, go to the west to your fire pit, and basically you drop your kindling in there, you light your fire in there. It's almost smokeless.
Yeah, so similar to like a forge where you actually have air coming in below or at the level of the fire, and not just an ambient oxygen. It's being kind of forced in, like you say, by the wind.
Yep.
And similar to the rocket stove, the air is purposefully coming in at a particular area to feed the fire, so it burns more cleanly. So yeah, the Dakota fire pits are essentially where these rocket stoves got their beginning.
Absolutely. And they're so easy to do. I highly recommend you go do this on your next family camp out, or even if you just want to spend a few hours in the backyard this Saturday just cooking a meal over a Dakota fire pit.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a shot. It'll allow you to test a few skills. Number one, it'll help you test your ability to dig a latrine, because you're basically digging a small latrine for your cooking purposes, right? But then the better part is you actually get to test your fire skills, also test your skills to cook on an open flame. Those are all skills you need to be fresh with all the time, because you never know. It's not if, it's always when something happens.
Yeah, and if you're in a true survival situation, you don't want to see smoke, but you need to have your fire for cooking and so forth. So something like the Dakota fire pit, which cuts down on your smoke, you can't really see the visible flames because they're below ground. It's going to be a lot more discreet, and and be able to conceal yourself when you're out in the wild. As many of the pioneers like Orrin Porter Rockwell, he never lit a fire unless he really needed to, because he didn't want to be found.
Yeah, and he never lit a fire near his camp.
That's right. It was always like a mile away or more.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're in a true survival situation where you're actually hiding from people, pick up a book, on Orrin Porter Rockwell, kind of learn his ways. He's probably one of the best wilderness outdoorsmen /
True
escape and evade / total just badass. I apologize for my family that heard me cuss. But he is one tough hombre, and he knows how to get things done, and he had a cool beard. I mean, what's not to like about a guy with a cool beard? But he was awesome. And for Utah, I mean, hey, it's our history. Yeah. One of the guys that helped kind of forge the wilderness here. There are so many solutions. I mean, that we could go on for days and days and days. But the thing I love about all these rocket stoves is it's simple. They're easy. It's not hard to figure out.
Go down to Home Depot, buy some cinder blocks, and you can make a rocket stove in a few seconds.
Yeah, hop on Pinterest. Follow us on Pinterest, exactly. PrepperCon. We've got it on there. You can follow the DIYs. Make your own stoves. And there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Get creative. Have fun with it. Challenge yourself.
Yeah, number 10 can.
Yeah.
And some larger, 18-ounce cans for the inner part of the stove. Make your own rocket stove out of a number 10 can, and give it a try. And that's the true part about being, I guess, a prepper, or even this is kind of where it leads back to being a scout, Boy Scout or Cub Scout or whatever, to where you're building these things for yourself and really learning how they work. Yeah, sure, you can jump online and say, okay, yeah, I could do that in a pinch, but could you really?
Yep.
Have you practiced it? Have you done it? Do you really know what you're doing in order so this works the first time, when it is essential that it works the first time?
Absolutely. You do not want to get into the situation and not be able to do something, or freeze because you don't know what to do. you got to be practicing. You got to be doing this. We got about 4 minutes left in the show. Shane, what else have we got?
Well, I really guess I wanted to focus a little bit more on the do-it-yourself aspect. Sure, you can go out and buy a $130 EcoZoom rocket stove, but you still have to take that out, in your backyard and practice and actually use it, because that really is a fantastic backup option for cooking if the power goes out. But also you've got to have your kindling, you got to have your store of wood and so forth. You could even use charcoal in that particular oven. And a lot of these rocket stoves, you can use anything that's called, consider it biomass. Anything that's you can burn.
Anything burnable.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what else did you see?
We had so much fun at PrepperCon. I mean, we had everything from the practical to the tactical. We had, in Prepper Fash, we had bulletproof vests and stuff like that. We actually had AR 500 was there through Stealth Gear, who's also one of our sponsors, so stealthgearusa.com. Vest holsters, they've got body armor, they've got tactical pens, tons of cool stuff. We had fun. I mean, we had the big giant military vehicles that are now being sold off to the public. We had Moab Outfitters was there with their big Jeeps. And tons of fun stuff. We had Base Camp, who did really well at the show. They've got this portable tent / utility trailer with solar batteries, battery backups, water filtration, and a kitchen, and a shower, and 2 gun safes.
Oh yeah,
did you see those?
In there.
Yeah, the 2 little gun boxes, lockable gun boxes.
Discreet,
hidden. I mean, just so much fun stuff. The beautiful thing about PrepperCon is we're trying to bring as many fun things to the market to help simplify your life. So check it out. Come back next week. We'll be here at 9 a.m. Next up is Liberty Lineup. Thanks for listening to K-Talk Radio.